For the Reese B, the best channel on YouTube.
I've spent the last 5 days in Belfast, and over the course of this video you'll see what I've been getting up to. So join me as we learn about the history, the culture and everything in between of the capital city of Northern Ireland. This is the Reese B, Adventures in Belfast. Good morning and welcome to a brand new adventure. Now, if you watched the Iceland video I did earlier on this year, this is very different to that. In that one I was off by myself, driving around everywhere. In this one I'm not alone. I'm with my parents, my sister, and we've got an Airbnb that we're staying at in the centre of Belfast, and we're going to be staying there for 5 days. And we need to leave in like 5 minutes, so I'm doing this very quickly. Let's go! When we arrived in Belfast, the first place we visited was the Cathedral Quarter, named due to the prominent St Anne's Cathedral located in the middle of it. St Anne's Cathedral is a Protestant cathedral which opened in 1904, and in 2007 a 40-metre stainless steel spire was installed on the top of the cathedral as part of a redevelopment plan for the Cathedral Quarter. The Spire of Hope quickly got renamed by the locals to the Rod to God. The Cathedral Quarter is also known for its many bars, my favourite of which was the Dirty Onion, which is situated in one of Belfast's oldest buildings, with both outside and inside seating and live music 7 days a week, alongside a rotisserie chicken restaurant upstairs called the Yardbird. The Yardbird does some of the most incredible chicken wings and loaded fries I've ever eaten. I highly recommend. All the food in this area was incredible. We ate here most nights. It was insane. Great food. Beautiful. I didn't actually get any footage of the food that we ate, but we ate at the Yardbird, another place called the Haymarket, which was fantastic, a place called Pizza Punks, which was really good, and a tapas restaurant, which I think was called Two Taps. All really good. Belfast might have the best food of any city I've ever been to, ever. But anyway, back to the Cathedral Quarter. Next door to the Dirty Onion is another bar called the Thirsty Goat, which is also a great bar with both indoor and outdoor seating. And if you're a fan of goats, you'll love this one, because there's a taxidermied one in the outside area, and inside there's lovely photos of goats. So if you like goats, this is the place for you. And after a very quick walk down the street, you'll reach the Duke of York, which, unlike the actual Duke of York, is respected and popular. And not just for the incredible exterior design, but also the great interior design and lovely selection of beverages.
It is, yeah. But see, look, all these Guinness signs, they're all from all over the world. Oh no, you can phone.
Today we are setting off to the Titanic Quarter, named as it is the location in which the Titanic was built. In order to get to the Titanic Quarter, we have to cross a bridge over the River Lagan. But just before this, we stop to see the Big Fish, a 33-foot long ceramic fish created by John Kindness in 1999. Legend says if you kiss the fish, you will gain extreme wisdom and knowledge. Full of the wisdom now, the wisdom. Mia, you gonna kiss the fish?
Nope.
Why do you... Dad, you gonna kiss the fish?
I'll kiss the fish.
Oh, Dad's gonna kiss the fish. Dad's kissing the fish. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, we gotta kiss it again. You gonna kiss the fish, Phil?
No, I don't think
You
so.
don't want to kiss the fish?
No, I've kissed some awful things in my time, but...
We continued along our way to the Titanic Quarter and were welcomed by the sound of the shipyard. An art installation that senses where you're standing and creates noise similar to that you would have heard 100 years ago in that same spot. Before we reach the Titanic experience, there is the SS Nomadic, which was the ship that was used to ferry the first and second class passengers from the harbour to the Titanic. But the Nomadic story doesn't end there. It was also used as a minesweeper in World War I and an evacuation ship in World War II, before being used as a floating sushi restaurant in Paris, and then returned to the city where it was built in 2006, 94 years after it left. Oh, ring the bell.
Hello, the bell is for staff only. Please, take a seat. We will serve you at the table.
Oh,
Just in trouble here.
Prefer to stand?
take a seat.
The Titanic experience is a £101 million museum that tells the story of the building and collapse of the Titanic. The building, which locals call the Iceberg, is 126 feet tall, the same height as the Titanic's hull, and is made of 2,200 individual aluminium shards to represent the 2,200 passengers on that inaugural and final trip of the Titanic. It is also designed to look like the White Star logo from the sky, the White Star Shipping Company being the company that ran the voyage from Southampton to New York. Inside the museum, it also gives you a great view of Samson and Goliath, the legendary ship-making cranes of Belfast. They are big enough to fit the Statue of Liberty underneath and have H and W plastered on the top of them to represent Harland and Wolff, the company responsible for building approximately 323 ships in Belfast, including the Titanic. Also here you can see and stand on the exact location in which the Titanic was first launched, and you can also see the face of Belfast's sleeping giant hidden within the cliffs. These are the cliffs that inspired Jonathan Swift in 1726 to write the story Gulliver's Travels. The Titanic experience is a must-visit in Belfast. Before coming here, I thought it was quite strange to celebrate one of the world's most famous failures. But throughout the experience, you learn about how the Titanic was the pride of Belfast and an incredible feat of construction, completely ruined by a captain's stupidity. As some of the locals here will tell you, the Titanic was built by Irishmen and sank by an Englishman. The museum also features immersive experiences to show you exactly what it was like building and on board the Titanic, as well as a heartbreaking look at the stories of the people who died and incredible stories from those who survived, as well as videos from the wreck as it is now, 13,000 feet below the surface of the North Atlantic, where it was found 36 years after it sunk. The story of the Titanic is an inspiring and heartbreaking one, and is one you must learn about if you're in Belfast. Also, in the Titanic Quarter is a fantastic smoothie shop. On the way back to our accommodation that night, we passed the Europa Hotel, which is the world's most bombed hotel, with 36 bomb attacks happening here during the Troubles. And across the road from it is the Crown Bar, where you can have a lovely drink. And just before calling it a night, we popped back to the Cathedral Quarter and paid a visit to the Harp, another one of Belfast's incredible bars. We are making our way outside of Belfast on a road trip to the Giants Causeway. According to legend, the Giants Causeway was built by Irish giant Finn McCool as a way to get to Scotland to fight a Scottish giant. In one version of the story, Finn McCool wins the fight, but in another, Finn gets closer to Scotland and realises his foe is a lot bigger than he is, and runs away to his wife, who disguises him as a baby. When the Scottish giant sees the baby, he runs away, thinking if that is the size of the baby, the father must be much bigger. And as he runs away, he destroys the remainder of the causeway between Ireland and Scotland. Others say that 60 million years ago, there was some intense volcanic activity, where highly fluid molten basalt intruded through the chalk beds to form an extensive volcanic plateau. Horizontal contraction fractured in a similar way during cooling, which caused the hexagonal pillar-like structures. Which of these stories is true is up to your own personal interpretation. Look happy! Hooray!
Having a whale of a time.
What?
Having a whale of a time.
Oh, good. So Happy New Year is?
It's very cold.
Cold?
My hair's getting knotted.
Oh dear. You know, having a good time on the Giants Causeway.
Oh, I'm having the time of my life.
Oh, good. You made it, dear. You made it. You made it, dear. Well done. And just before we ended the day, we had one more stop at the Dark Hedges.
Wales is better, isn't it?
Yeah. Just a bunch of trees.
It's not pretty impressive.
just a bunch of trees.
I've seen better.
Seen better trees. Today we hopped upon an open-top bus to get to the Belfast Peace Walls. We start at the International Peace Walls, which is covered in street art which puts a spotlight on conflicts across the globe. Before we get to the main peace wall. This one was built in 1969 during the Troubles as a way to separate the nationalists and the unionists. To put this into perspective, this wall is nearly double the height of the Berlin Wall and has been up over 25 years longer. The Troubles started in the late 60s and would rage on for 30 years between the Irish nationalists who wanted Ireland to belong to the Irish and the Unionists, who wanted Ireland to remain as part of the United Kingdom. Over the 30 years, over 3,500 people died, and all casualties is estimated to be around 50,000. Belfast was one of the epicentres for the violence during the Troubles, the worst of which within Belfast took place on Bloody Friday in 1972. In which 20 bombs went off in the space of 80 minutes. In 1998, the Good Friday Agreement was signed, which ended most of the violence of the Troubles. It established a sharing of power between Northern Ireland and the United Kingdom, and also allowed the Irish people to choose how they identified. If they chose to be Irish, they could have an Irish passport, and if they chose to be British, they could have a British passport, and if they chose to be both, they could have both. The Troubles developed an awful reputation for Belfast, and at the time Belfast was very high on a list of places you would never want to visit. It also would have been very difficult at the time for you to visit, as there was only a couple of hotels, mostly used by journalists. But since then, Belfast has moved forward incredibly quickly. Belfast is a city with a history full of sadness, but it carries that sadness and carries the city forward. It manages to be an incredibly modern feeling city and extremely welcome to tourism, whilst also not hiding its past. It brings me back to St Anne's Cathedral, an incredibly old building but with a modern twist running through the heart of it. And that is the perfect way to describe Belfast. It knows its past, but knows that will not determine its future. A lot of people who live in Belfast still say that the peace walls are still needed in order to keep the peace. But if you go and see them now, you will see people are encouraged to write messages of hope and peace on the walls in the hope that one day they won't be. And in a relatively short time, Belfast has become one of the most welcoming and vibrant tourist destinations in the world, and one of my favourite cities ever.
Mae bys Merian wedi bri